You're very welcome to the Michael Harding podcast. This is the end of October in 2022, and I've been doing a few meditations about Buddhism, my experience of Buddhism in the Tibetan tradition. My teacher is the Panchanuchral Rinpoche. He's the spiritual director of the Jampa Ling Center. It's a Tibetan Buddhist center in West Cavan. It's within the context of that, and in the context of me just being a storyteller. I'm not a teacher, but as a storyteller and wanting to share with you my life, my stories. And that's how I come to you today to share this. This is the Guru Yoga, Tsong Kapa Guru Yoga. Tsong Kapa is the 15th century intellectual, philosopher, theologian, spiritual mystic who in the tradition of Tibetan Buddhism became a central figure. He kind of reorganized Buddhism, gave it a clarity. He used the teachings of Atisha, Nagarjuna, various other adepts from India, and pulled them all together in a very simple, clear way that was accessible to monks and also to anybody who wanted to follow the path of enlightenment. So, this is a wonderful, extraordinary well of wisdom. And I am like a foolish, innocent idiot. I have a can like a sieve. There's holes in it. So if I were to try and lift water from the well, it would spill out before it would get to your lips. That's the caveat I always present to people. You're not dealing here with a teacher. You're dealing here with a storyteller who wants to share his story and wants to send you in the direction of a teacher. So go to Jampa Ling, go to their website, go to their Facebook page, or go to their front door. Tell them I sent you. And find ways of practicing mindfulness, ways of practicing meditation, ways of practicing mind training in the Tibetan Buddhist tradition. Why would you do that? Well, because in all the various places that you could go to study mindfulness, I can only recommend one. Doesn't mean I'm not recommending any other place. I don't know about other places, but this one I do know about. And this one is reliable because it is within the strong tradition of Tibetan Buddhism. So when you look for a teacher and you find a teacher that is within the tradition, whether it be Christian or Muslim or Jewish or Hindu or Buddhist, always get a teacher who is really within the tradition, in the main line of the tradition, and you can't go wrong. That's the first point. And those of you who've listened to the 4 meditations that I made on Buddhism, the little Buddha corner, you'll know that that's the first point I make. Always find a teacher and find a reliable teacher. If you've listened to the 4 meditations from the little Buddha corner, you'll also know that I'm doing these in a very special way from the shed, the studio shed in the hills above Lochalan. But I have an image, a little shrine in front of me. I have a candle lit in front of a picture of the Dalai Lama, and behind that is a picture of Tara, the white Buddha, the female Buddha. And what I'm going to do today, in this very special conclusion to the series Little Buddha Corner, I'm going to talk about Tsong Kapa Guru Yoga. And what I'm going to do is bring you through it as a prayer. So I'm not going to analyze it or talk like a theologian, but I'm going to share with you this as a meditation. And as I've said earlier, you'll find bits in it that you recognize, bits of it that you'll be very familiar with. Maybe you've already been to places like Zogjumbera or Jampeling or Samiling. Maybe that you have some very good deep experience of Tibetan Buddhism, and you'll be very familiar with this. Or maybe that you don't. So you could be very deeply into the Christian tradition or some other mainstream religious tradition, or no tradition at all. We have lived our lives in the 20th century in Western culture, letting go of a lot of religious faith, feeling that the institutions were, in some sense, oppressing us. And now we find ourselves in a much more liberal space, a space where people are more free to be eclectic about the way that they approach faith and religion, to find what suits them. And we don't feel tyrannized anymore by clerics or anybody in power telling us we should believe this, that, or the other. So it's a time of great freedom, and it's a time of freely choosing. And in that sense, what I'd like to do is present you with this practice of Tibetan Buddhist prayer, faith, and share it with you. And you, from your perspective, whether it be Christian or secular or whatever, that you'll see things in it that are familiar, things in it that are new and fresh. And then I think that what I'm hoping is that when we go into November, we're reflecting on really what it is to be here now in a very personal and Christian way, that these ideas will pass over and influence. That's how I see the value of Buddhist tradition. Buddhist tradition is like Greek philosophy was to the early Christians. Buddhist tradition is so rich in its psychotherapy, in its mind training, in its ability to give you a model, a lens through which to understand the world and your place in it. And it's all deductive in the sense of rational and scientific. It's not a revealed religion, so it's something that we can absorb, imbibe, and become committed to without necessarily having stepped over the threshold of, faith in the way that you believe. So we can gather the insights and the depth of Buddhist experience and then apply them, use them as a lens when we think about the Christian tradition or the Muslim tradition or the Jewish tradition. I put those three together, obviously, because they are the great religions of Abraham. They come out from the singularity of Abraham, his insight into monotheism. And what you're about to hear is just another way of doing it. So come with me now into the beautiful space of the Tibetan Buddhist prayer room. I take refuge until I am enlightened in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, through the positive potential that I create by practicing generosity and the other far-reaching attitudes. May I attain Buddhahood in order to benefit all sentient beings. I take refuge until I am enlightened in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. Through the positive potential I create by practicing generosity and the other far-reaching attitudes, may I attain Buddhahood in order to benefit all sentient beings. I take refuge until I am enlightened in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. Through the positive potential that I create by practicing generosity and the other far-reaching attitudes, may I attain Buddhahood in order to benefit all sentient beings. From the heart of the Lord Protector of Tushita's 100 gods, floating on fluffy white clouds, piled like fresh curd, comes the omniscient Lord of the Dharma, Losang Dragpa. Please come here together with your spiritual children, Gyaltsabje, embodiment of Shenredzik, and Kedrupcha, embodiment of Vajrapani. In the sky before me on a lion throne, with lotus and moon seat, sits the holy Guru with his beautiful, smiling face. Supreme field of merit for my mind of faith, please stay 100 aeons to spread the teachings. Your mind of pure genius that spans the whole range of knowledge, your voice of eloquence, jewel ornament for the fortunate ear, your body of beauty resplendent with the glory of fame, I bow to you, so beneficial to see, hear, and remember. Various delightful offerings of flowers, incense, perfumes, lights, and pure sweet waters, those actually arranged, and this ocean of offering clouds mentally transformed, I offer to you, O supreme field of merit. All negativities I have committed with body, speech, and mind, accumulated since beginningless time, including all transgressions of the 3 sets of vows, I confess each one with strong regret from the depths of my heart. In this degenerate time, you worked for broad learning and accomplishment, abandoning the 8 worldly concerns to realize the great value of leisure and opportunity. Sincerely, O Protector, I rejoice at your great deeds. Venerable Holy Gurus, in the space of your truth body, from billowing clouds of your wisdom and love, let fall the rain of the profound and extensive Dharma in whatever form is suitable for subduing sentient beings. Whatever virtue I may have gathered here, may it bring benefit to the migrating beings and to the Buddha's teaching. May it make the essence of the Buddha's doctrine, and especially the teachings of Losang Dragpa, shine for a long time. By virtue of offering to you, assembly of Buddhas, this mandala, built on a base, resplendent with lights, flowers, sweet waters, adorned with Mount Meru and the four continents, as well as the sun and the moon, may all sentient beings share in its good effects. Idam Guru Ratna Mandalakam Niryatayami. By the force of having fervently requested in this manner, hollow rays of light are emitted from the hearts of the Venerable Father and his two sons, the ends of which combine into one and enter the crown of my head. By the white nectar, the colour of milk, that comes through the pathway of the tube of white light, I am cleansed of all sickness, disturbance, non-virtues, obstacles and their instincts without exception, and my body becomes as pure and as clear as crystal. Avalokiteshvara, great treasure of objectless compassion, Manjushri, master of flawless wisdom, Vajrapani, destroyer of all demonic forces, Tsong Kapa, crown jewel of the snowy land sages, Losang Dragpa, I make request at your holy feet. Avalokiteshvara, great treasure of objectless compassion, Manjushri, master of flawless wisdom, Vajrapani, destroyer of all demonic forces, Tsong Kapa, crown jewel of the snowy lands sages, Losang Dragpa, I make request at your holy feet. O glorious and precious root Guru, come take your lotus and moon seat placed here above my head, and keep me safe in your great kindness. Bestow on me, please, the powerful attainments of your body, speech, and mind. O glorious and precious root Guru, come take your lotus and moon seat at my heart, and keep me safe in your great kindness. Bestow on me, please, the powerful attainments of your body, speech, and mind. O glorious and precious root Guru, come take your lotus and moon seat at my heart, and keep me safe in your great kindness. Remain steadfast until I achieve Buddhahood. By this merit may I quickly attain the state of a Guru Buddha, and may I lead into that state every being without exception. From my two collections, vast as space, that I have amassed from working with effort at this practice for a great length of time, may I quickly become the chief leading Buddha for all those whose mind's wisdom eye is blinded by ignorance. Even if I do not reach that stage, may I be held in your loving compassion for all my lives, Manjushri. May I find the best of complete graded paths of the teaching, and may I please all the Buddhas by practicing it well. Using skillful means drawn by the strong force of compassion, may I clear the darkness from the minds of all beings, with the points of the path as I have discerned them. May I uphold the Buddha's teaching for a very long time. With my heart going out with great compassion in whatever direction the most precious teachings have not yet spread, or once spread have declined, may I expose this treasure of happiness and aid. May the mind of those who wish for liberation be granted bounteous peace, and the Buddha's deeds be nourished by even this graded course to enlightenment, completed due to the wondrous virtuous conduct of the Buddhas and their sons. May all human and non-human beings who eliminate adversity and make things conducive for practicing the excellent paths never be parted in any of their lives from the purest path praised by the Buddhas. Whenever someone makes effort to practice, may he always be assisted by the mighty ones, and may oceans of prosperity spread everywhere. May my Lama's life be firm, his white divine actions spread in the 10 directions, and the torch of Losang's teachings, dispelling the darkness of the beings of the 3 worlds, always remain. The prayers always end with the dedication to His Holiness the Dalai Lama. In this paradise of snowy mountains, you are the source of all good and happiness, O powerful Tenzin Gyatso Shenrezig. May you remain immutable until the possibilities of becoming are exhausted.